Welcome to day three of the Enterprise Innovation Summit 2021. Now, over the past few days, we've come face to face with innovation that has already changed the paradigm in enterprise technology, and we've been acquainted with thinking that can transform our future. On day one, we discussed innovation in enterprise architecture. Yesterday, it was all about experiences, and today, we'll be delving into the world of security and how to secure our enterprise world. Now, the Enterprise Innovation Summit 2021 hashtag to keep the conversation alive on Twitter is EIS2021. So do drop by there with your thoughts, and we have goodies by the hour. There are also some great giveaways at the virtual booths as well. Tata Communications has prizes for lucky winners filling up their feedback form. So drop by the virtual stalls as well. But for the moment, let me welcome back Rahul Nirmani, our editor here at Dynamic CIO, for the welcome address. Redo cybersecurity or redefine cybersecurity? Let's find out. Rahul, over to you.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be with you for the third and final day of Enterprise Innovation Summit 2021. As we draw close to the culmination of this 3 day summit, we are devoting this very day to the cause of cybersecurity, which is, to me, one of the most vital elements when we think of innovation and business growth. Uh, Now, there are a galaxy of speakers. There is a galaxy of speakers that we have arranged for you, and as the day unfolds, you will listen to them. But I thought that let me spend again 5 to 7 minutes of my time to just set the tone for the entire day. Fear and a sense of urgency are some of the most powerful vectors of human exploitation when it comes to cybersecurity. And this was very clearly visible during this whole crisis of COVID. It all began in March last year when scams and phishing efforts, ransomware attacks related to COVID-19 emergency, such as impersonation of authority figures, like even the WHO and other governmental institutions started taking place. The start of the pandemic also clearly showed how unpreparedness around protecting both corporate and home users can strike back and can hurt very badly. This whole episode in these past 15 to 18 months that we have been has definitely impacted the world, and that includes cybersecurity. I mean, you can't exclude cybersecurity from anything that we do today because we live in a connected world. While reflecting on the um, past few months of in the post-pandemic world, um, there are many highlights that emerge from discourses. So I won't talk much about the various kinds of cyber attacks or hackings that remained in the headlines as they are already in the public domain. However, I will surely talk about how the emerging situations have changed the mindset of CISOs and also those who are responsible for managing cybersecurity in their respective businesses and organizations. In fact, it's no more just the responsibility of a CIO or a CISO to manage cybersecurity. Every employee, every stakeholder who's dealing in data has to be aware of security challenges that are surrounding them. Um, my first point is we must think like a hacker. Mostly we are caught in plugging gaps reactively rather than having a neck for finding what can go wrong in our systems and processes, even though they are running fine. Um, it is called preventive maintenance. I was recently talking to the CEO of Security Scorecard, which is a premier security rating and advisory company, and was quite convinced, during our conversation that we need to be thinking like a hacker. Now, how do hackers find holes and vulnerabilities and latch on to them to enter the tight perimeter that we assume is safe? How do they exploit minutest vulnerabilities that we often ignore, thinking that they would never be exploited? While we are facing a stiff challenge on the skills front, and I completely agree that skills are very difficult to come by, uh, but we do have access to certain technologies that can create a very wide and better visibility of our endpoints, our edges, our cloud ecosystem, our networks, and so on. With very little, with a little wisdom and application of the right technology, this gap can be bridged. We can overcome this challenge. I mean, start using automation and AI, which can be very, very helpful. And we have examples. The industry is full of examples that how these cognitive, intuitive technologies are helping in the cybersecurity domain. My next point is trust deficit. Now, there is overall deficit of trust in the connected world. Um, we have billions of connected devices and that number is only going to swamp us in the future. We are not going to reduce the connected devices because the way we live in connected homes, the way we avail connected health, the way we drive connected cars, the way factories produce in connected factories, connected grids, all are all are realities we need to deal with. The connection between IT and OT is also fast catching up. On one hand, it gives businesses ease of work and create better business opportunities. But on the other hand, they are also widening our attack surface. Since they are connected, they're quite visible to the threat actors, and those threat actors are smart. We all know that. While the industry is moving towards zero trust and that is gaining ground, we are still miles away from a comfortable situation. You need to draw your own zero trust policy. I mean, there's no one size fits all. So, a zero trust propagated by an X organization or X vendor or X consulting organization, you can't just borrow that. Trusting no one is fine, but would you work? How would you work if there is distrust all around? So there has to be a proper process of adopting zero trust. It is therefore important to bring about that cultural change to adopt zero trust, to acquaint your entire ecosystem, to acquaint your entire extended enterprise with what the benefits of zero trust are. My next point is user awareness. Now, it's a very cliched point to talk. Ask any CIO or CISO or even CEO, and they will start boasting about their cybersecurity awareness and training programs. Despite that, we see large scale breaches which are taking place across the world. Now, if training is so pervasive and it is so on top of the agenda of companies' boards, why do they not result into a better security posture? Give me an answer. Why do matured companies fall prey to things like business email compromise attacks? Why are the phishing attacks rising exponentially? The reason is we just dispense training without measuring the outcomes. There is a need for simulations and outcome oriented trainings. Simulate attacks, simulate environments as if hackers are crawling all over the place in your extended enterprise. Let both your red teams and blue teams draw battle lines. Make employees part of cybersecurity drills. Um, repeat these exercises periodically, and I'm sure if we do it and if we make it part of our DNA, they will help. My my fourth point is uh, third party vendors. This is perhaps the weakest link that makes us a compromise target. Even if your posture is satisfactory, the cybersecurity posture of your core software vendors, suppliers, APIs, and so on may not be that great. But in the connected world, we let them in with little or no audit. There is a need for reassessing that. The weakest link in the cybersecurity chain needs to be brought on par with your security posture, and therefore, we must take care of this. Another point is sharing. Um, you know, this is perhaps my last point. Um, Information incident sharing. Why do we shy away from that? Mostly, we hesitate sharing attacks that take place in our environments because they may expose the companies and may impact the net promoter score adversely. However, it's a very wrong approach to me. Unless we share these with the wider industry players and our peers, we won't get feedback on our own gaps. Peer sharing is one of the best things we can adopt. This helps. Believe me, this helps. In the end, I would only say that blurring lines between digital and physical domains indicate that nations and organizations will only be secure if they incorporate cybersecurity features, principles, and frameworks um, which are a necessity for all organizations, especially those who have high value critical assets. In today's battles, governments have to adopt to fight against attackers that are silent, distributed, varied, and very technologically savvy. Now, coming back to the summit, we have packed this day for you with a lot of global and Indian experts whom we have very carefully chosen, keeping in mind the theme and contemporary challenges that the industry is facing. I am pretty sure, like the other days, these sessions will also give you a lot of learning and knowledge. Uh, in the end, I would like to thank you once again for joining us here today on the final day of EIS 2021. I'm signing off. Over to you, Ashwin. Thank you.